Hey, it's your girl Esha here, and I'm excited to announce the launch of our Carnivalista Biz series. This series will shine a spotlight on my fellow Carnivalista Biz women who are running it. And I couldn't be more pleased to have had my first interview with Erica Dixon, who I absolutely adore. She is the band leader of Unity Mass, a four-time champion of the Raleigh Carnival Parade, also known as Carib Mask. As the band leader, Erica has taken her band to Atlanta Carnival. She also has a section in Hollywood Carnival and has plans to expand to Toronto, which is Caribana for those of you who know about Toronto Carnival, and that is my hometown. So I was so excited to hear that she's expanding out there. And she's done this in the space of 5 years, by the way. As if that wasn't enough, she's also a SocaJammer, which means she creates Zumba choreography featuring soca rhythm jams exclusively, and she teaches weekly Zumba classes here in Durham. As if that wasn't enough. So I really hope you guys enjoy my interview with Erica. Here it is. So, Erica, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to talk with you some more about your business and being a soca jammer. We have just so many exciting things to talk about today. So, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
No, thank you so much. I'm excited as well.
Oh, wonderful. Good. So, Erica, you and we have a little bit of an interesting history of how we kind of got into each other's lives. So, I found your Zumba classes through a Groupon. I think this was back in 2010. I had just moved
Yeah.
to the Raleigh Durham area and found this Groupon to join Zumba classes because I wanted to find fitness classes in the area, and I wanted something with movement and music because that's what I love. And that's how I found you in the first
Mhm.
place with your Zumba classes way back in 2010, which was really fun. And
Yeah.
then
Yes.
a mutual contact of ours actually got us back in connection because you were interested in going to Trinidad Carnival. Angela,
Yes.
I know somebody who does Trinidad Carnival trips,
Yep.
and
She
that ended
did. She
up
sure did.
yeah, and that ended up with you traveling with us for a couple of years to Trinidad Carnival.
Uh-huh.
I think was it 2016 and 2017, I
It's
believe?
17 and 18.
2017 and 2018. Okay, yeah. And of course, we
Yes.
had a ball in Trinidad.
Yes. 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 Truly had a ball.
Yes, yes. So I mean, we've crossed paths in so many ways over the years, and you were of course such a great client, one of our best clients, and we loved being in Trinidad Carnival with you as well. So it's just interesting how connections are made, and you cross paths so many different times, and end up where you are today. I'm sure you
Yes.
have tons of stories about that too.
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. I
Yeah.
definitely do.
For sure. So the first question that I want to ask you is, for all of our listeners, is how did you get interested in Caribbean culture? Because your background is not from the Caribbean originally, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, I am not. And that's probably the most popular question. Um,
Hmm.
And interestingly enough, and that it goes right back to what you just said about how you make connections and how things circle around and meet people. Um, I actually got interested in Caribbean culture, was introduced to it mainly um, through my friends in college. When I was in grad school, I started a fitness group, and at that time at North Carolina Central University, we had a large population of students from Trinidad because one of our recruiters was Trinidadian.
Ah,
And
okay.
that's how I was first introduced to cultural outside of music, food, that type of thing. And I'm actually friends with her and her sister to this day. So I visited them when I went to Trinidad with you both times.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
but
Okay.
that was my first introduction. So that was the late '90s into 2000,
Hmm.
and back then also taught cycling classes. So then that's when I was first introduced to the music. And then let's fast forward. to my connection that leads me to what I do now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was through the Raleigh-Durham Afro-Caribbean Association invited me to perform on stage. And the weird thing about that is how my fitness heavily ties into this. I was at a training, and I was actually hosting the training. And there were a few ladies from the island, different islands, at the training.
Okay.
And it was a training that included soca as one of the rhythms. And I was asked to come up from the presenter, and we did a soca song together. And then after that, I was contacted by one of the attendees, and they were starting the carnival downtown Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been the first year, I think it was 2012, and they invited me to perform. And I was like, well, you know, I'm not from, and she was like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Just come, we want you to perform. So I remember that day I had a Caribbean masterclass in Durham, and we packed up, they drove me to Raleigh. Behind the stage, we pulled up, I got out and walked straight up on the stage.
Wow.
And that was my first introduction to walked up to a festival of people, and we did a Zumba song, like an old soca song, but we were in our Zumba clothes at the time, which we learned that we had on too many clothes by some hecklers in the audience. And I think I did like Tay Lele. It was like an old song, older song.
One of my old favorites.
That song is it was like my go-to, my favorite song. And so that was my first introduction, I would say. And then after to Caribbean culture in that sense, being at a festival of music and being invited into the community, like somewhat. And after that, the very next year, I was asked to do a fundraiser for Carrot Mask. And I remember when I got the call, they wanted me to do a fundraiser, but they wanted me to involve other instructors, and they were trying to figure out a creative way to get people to help sell tickets. And so I was like, well, they wanted to do some kind of competition, and I was like, well, let's try just donating a truck. And this, not one of the big trucks. It was just, we were an exhibition group at the time. So we had a Zumba banner on a Home Depot truck. It was like a little pickup truck. They got that for us.
Yeah.
And we had music on the back, and it was about 40 or so of us in T-shirts dancing down the street. So that's kind of how it started. I was saying, and so they did that. And that's kind of how we started. And then after doing that, that's when I realized, I was like, wow, I started learning more. And at the time, in my classes, before, when I was asked to do the fundraiser and was offered the opportunity to have a group in the parade, I put together a committee, and I put a post in my Zumba class group and asked whether anyone from any West Indian students. If so, please respond. And I formed a committee of 8 different islands, ladies from 8 different islands. And that's how we started, the original way we started. And we had meetings. The first couple of years, I had most of those ladies together on the committee. And that's kind of how we started. And so fitness is heavily laced or intertwined with my involvement in the Caribbean culture in this area.
Right. Which I think is it's a match made in heaven, honestly. There is no better workout music than soca music, right?
Oh my goodness, no. I mean, that's when they say you just get turned out completely. Yes. I mean, it's almost as though I've been listening to it all my life. It is truly motivating, inspiring, and uplifting. So,
yes.
And that really drives a lot of my popularity as far as in the Caribbean culture. Before, I was known around here for just fitness, because I was a personal trainer. I've been in the fitness business since 1997,
Right.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of people knew me before Zumba for kickboxing, cycling, all of that.
Right.
Currently, I still teach those fitness classes, but I'm more known for Zumba. So when you hear my name in this area, you hear Zumba. But now within the Zumba world, when you hear my name, you hear Soca.
Yes. And I
So that's
love
what's really
that.
great about it now. Yeah.
Yes, yes, definitely. So inspirational. And speaking of inspiration, I know we talked about, how you kind of got inducted into the Caribbean culture. What really inspired you to start your fitness business?
Well, my fitness business as it relates to the band, or you mean just fitness business in general?
Just fitness business in general, because I know that's your thing, the whole
Yeah.
fit body, fit life. So I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
be
Uh
fit
huh.
for life, right? So just
Yes. Okay.
fitness
Well,
in general, yeah.
my fitness business, I've been, like I said, I've been in the fitness as a fitness instructor since the late '90s,
Hmm.
and that started because of my own journeys with weight, wanting to lose weight in college.
Right.
Um, and I have those are people who went to school with me or college with me know my weight loss story. And I lost like 75 pounds
Mm-hmm.
in college at North Carolina Central. And
Wow.
then I remember the day that I realized that this is what I wanted to do forever. And it was the day that I had a root, I think it was a tooth extraction or a root canal. It was something where I was, mouth was full of gauze. And I still went to the gym. And I was like, okay, I didn't go to work today, but I went to the gym.
But you went to the gym.
I was like, and my mom always told me, I mean, I always remember advice from her, but one piece of advice that stuck was make sure that you are happy in what you do for a living. I remember her, she used to complain a lot about her job,
Mm,
and she would always say, make sure you love what you do.
yes.
So I ended up going back to school, and I got an English literature degree,
Hmm.
undergrad. And then I remember going, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I, in between time, I had to get a job, of course. And then I met a trainer at Gold's Gym who I, at the time, was looking for trainers to train, like inexperienced trainers to train. And I was asking her about career advice and what she did as a trainer. And so she was like, well, I'll be glad to talk to you. Come back. And I remember she was like, I'll come back on a Sunday. It was a Sunday. I sat down in her office and she was interviewing me, and I didn't realize it, but she told me to write down everything I wanted to do in the next 5 years and 10 years. And I still have those pieces of paper that I wrote those things down. And after meeting with her, I got a job as a trainer. She trained me. I shadowed her for about 6 months with no pay, and started helping people in the gym after work. So that's kind of how it all started. And then as far as eFit for Life, and eventually I went back to school, got a master's degree in Parks and Rec Management,
Hmm.
started teaching as soon as I came back from an internship overseas, started teaching, came back on a Wednesday, started teaching on a Monday at North Carolina Central. And I was there as a teacher until 2000, well, still there, but as a teacher from 2009. And then from 2009 to 2014, I became director of campus rec. And then in 2011, so shortly after, is when I became a choreographer for Zumba. And I started teaching Zumba back in 2008. And the funny thing was, I advertised my classes on Craigslist back then because I didn't even have Facebook at the time. I don't think we could even have Facebook because I think it was still an EDU type of thing.
Oh.
And and then in between that, I owned a fitness center. So while I was teaching as an instructor in the PE department, I opened a fitness center in Cary for about 2 years. Me and another fitness instructor, we did it together from 2007 to 2009. So I went from one thing to the next. From
Yeah.
2009, yeah, everything kind of. But that's where I started teaching Zumba in 2008. and at IBM and in my own studio.
Right.
And then I started teaching in different classes. So that's kind of where the Zumba book. And then once the audition opportunity came up to be a choreographer for Zumba, I auditioned and I got the position. And this was back in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's kind of how and then that Groupon, which is funny that you mentioned that, because the weird thing is back then Groupon was really hard to get because you had to apply, and it took me 8 months to get a Groupon. Later on, you could put it up there, and a week later, or they call you to get one. But
wow,
back then, I remember it was so hard, and I only had one class, so my business was only one class at one time, and they gave me a Groupon for one class.
Wow, I think it was the I think I did the Thursday night class.
Yep, that was it. It was only one. But actually, I added Saturday. When I did the Groupon, they said, well, you can just mention on the site that you're adding Saturday. And I added the Saturday a few months later after I did the initial Groupon campaign, and I sold like over 700 Groupons. It was in that one weekend.
It was a hot.
Yes, it was a hot item.
Everybody.
But that's when, everybody was just finding out about Zumba. It wasn't in all the gyms at the time, So, and everybody just wanted to. People were kind of, I guess, I don't even know if it was refreshing when it first started, because you really didn't have all of these dance classes that you have now. Because of that, you have so many options. But before, it was just jazzercise, I think, really, that you could go walk in, and it other than a fitness class that was called dance or hip hop, you really couldn't find a class that had all those different music genres, and it was easy to follow, and lots of people in the room, you can connect with people, so it became more of a social thing, which is the perfect breeding ground for what I'm doing now with the band. So that's kind of how it worked out.
Wonderful. Yeah, but I mean, what you're saying is so true. Back then, there wasn't anything that kind of embodied the dancing and the movement, and it was easy to follow, and you didn't have to have a dance background. And that's what was most appealing for me, because everybody who knows me knows that exercise is like the last thing on my list, because it has to be fun. It has to be engaging. Yes. And not all Zumba instructors are created equal, So
that's true.
Groupon, I was like, okay, let's try it. Let's check this out, because I went to other Zumba classes and it wasn't connecting. Honestly, I was just like, I don't like the music. This instructor is too crazy. I'm like, no, this isn't working. And then I went to your class and I was like, okay, yeah. And there's some Soca. What? I can get with this for sure. That's how I got introduced to you and your universe with bringing in the soca aspect. Because from the time I heard soca, I was the happiest woman in the world. I was like, what? She's playing? Shut up! You're playing soca.
Yeah, I know. And then what's funny is, even now, as someone who loves soca music, when I hear it, I'm excited, because when I go certain places, because I really didn't realize that it was seasonal. A lot of even in the islands, I didn't realize that.
Yes.
And so if other people know soca, not dance hall, not reggae, but if they know to play a soca, I'm so surprised, one, and happy. I mean, it's in this area. Of course, if you're in New York or Atlanta, places that have a large Caribbean population, West Indian population, of course you're going to hear it. But like if I go into a restaurant, even if it's like a Latin restaurant and I hear a soca song, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I agree with you there for sure, especially in these southern parts.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Well, awesome. So the next question I have with you, Erica, kind of getting back to the whole love what you do. What is it that you love the most about what you're doing with Unity Mass and your SocaJammer business?
Well, the one thing that I love the most is that it's a seamless, for me, it's like a seamless grouping, or I would say a seamless way to have all of my passions lined up, and I can just kind of work in a circular motion. all day.
Yeah.
I think that was what I really love, because I really have been blessed to be able to have one kind of support the other, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm in Carnival, I take a picture. I can use that picture on my flyers, promote my fitness sessions and my classes. They know they're going to get Soca, but now a lot of my students are in the band, or the students that I train, instructors that I train are in the band, and they bring their students. So it really, I think, to sum that up, I think I would say the community that I've been able to build in both areas have been like a crossover type of seamless work. The work is seamless. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that, because I don't have to compartmentalize a lot of things. Like before, when I was working at NCCU, I had to compartmentalize in order to be successful in my job as a director or a teacher. You know, from these hours to this hour, I was doing this. I couldn't post until this time. I got up early in the morning and wee hours to start posting and planning before I head to work. You know, but now I just work everything kind of, you know, even though they're different, to me, it feels like I am working on this huge project of bringing people together and inspiring people and keeping them healthy and fit, but just teaching people. I think what I've learned as I started to do this myself is that I'm really teaching people how to really live their best life.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the most important, that's an important role. And I oftentimes have to reevaluate what that means, you know? So, and kind of focus my energy into that. If I can just set that as the focus, and then I think a lot of the things, it makes it a lot easier to do. And then some of the stress kind of, you go through it, but I also like the challenge as well. I like the pressure aspect of it. I like the fact that I have to organize or bring people together, or like manage. That's a skill that I used a lot and when I was at North Carolina Central. That sometimes you kind of get on the whole. Sometimes you get on the whole. Things become kind of like run of the mill.
Right.
When you're doing classes and you know it and you get good at it and you've done it 10 years. But this keeps me challenged. The band really keeps me challenged. The SocaJammer, the choreographer, because you have to go into I travel a lot with that. So you meet a lot of different people, and you have to do contracts with each place you go. So that keeps you on your toes, and you meet new people all the time. So I would say those two things, just the fact that I can kind of bring it all together and cross over with the band and the fitness and the going to carnivals, all of that. I can make all of that kind of work together, and the challenge of the work itself. Now, it's stressful at times, but the reward is greater. So that's what keeps me going.
Wow. I love that. That's amazing. That is amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this, Erica. What I'd love to let people know is how can they get in touch with you to learn more about Unity Mass and also your SocaJammer sessions, and how do they do that?
All right. Well, let's start with the social media. All right. So on social media, I have an eFit for Life Fitness with Erica Dixon page. And we also have a Unity Mass Band, and it's Mass, M-A-S, Unity Mass Band page. And on Instagram, it's the same, at eFit for Life and at Unity Mass Band.
Okay.
And other than that, if someone's interested in joining our band, they can contact me through any of those pages, or if they don't have social media, they can contact me through email, unitymassband@gmail.com, or efit4lifenc@gmail.com.
Okay.
So those are the main ways to connect. And I answer those emails. So if someone's looking to speak to me directly, they can contact me through those emails or social media pages. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. And I will add links. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching this off of my blog, I will definitely add all of those links so you can connect with Erica directly. Erica, thank you so much for your time today. I always enjoy talking to you, learning something new, and of course, hearing all about, I mean, who doesn't really love to hear all about music, right? So
yeah. So I had to make sure I mention too, to make sure they join us for Raleigh Carnival, and that's coming up August 24th.
Yes.
And yes, and we've won Band of the Year for the past 4 years.
That's
so we're
right.
excited again this year to get out there, hit the road. We have beautiful costumes, and we have a casual mass section this year, which you don't have to spend a lot of money, and you don't have to dress a lot, dress up in gems and feathers. You can come out in one of our t-shirt sections or our bodysuits. So we're really excited about that. And we have a kids section too. So
yes,
we're excited about getting out there again Saturday, August 24th. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned Carrot Mask.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Well, thank you for that. And thank you so much for your time today, Erica. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you so much, Esha. Have a great day.
You too. Hey, it's Esha here again. Hope you enjoyed my interview with Erica Dixon. As promised, you'll find links below in the notes to this video if you'd like to learn more about Erica and her Carnivalista Biz. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video if you'd like to see more videos like this. And as always, till the next lime.